Hey, this is Ryan of Happy Healthy Vegan. So not that long ago, a few of you guys messaged me to check out this Why I'm No Longer Vegan video from YouTube vegan influencer Amanda Castillo.
The title says it all. I'm not vegan anymore.
Full disclosure, I was not really aware of her or anything like that, so this is a fresh viewing on my part here. And if you're watching, Amanda, or anyone watching, I want you guys to know I'm only reviewing these videos, these Why I'm No Longer Vegan videos, to see if there's some absolute compelling reason why a person had to quit this ethical diet of plant eating or they're going to die or something like that. I'm not here to make fun of people, shame them, or anything like that. I just really want to see if people really needed to quit being vegan or is there some other thing going on in their lives. So anyway, let's jump right in.
Because I have built such a platform being vegan. Like, that was honestly my whole identity on social media and also off social media.
See, that's how I knew she was a vegan social media influencer, because she said so. And she also revealed early on in her video that she had some struggles with eating and health early on in her life.
I did struggle with an eating disorder my sophomore year of high school. I had it for a year and I had a really unhealthy relationship with food. And before that, I also had my appendix removed when I was in middle school. I am now down 2 organs. I don't have an appendix. I don't have a gallbladder.
So from that not so great starting point, that's when she discovered eating plant-based and it made all her problems better.
I had to reflect a lot and I was like, dude, what am I doing wrong? And that's when I really discovered veganism on YouTube, and it solved everything internally for me. I was like, I'm eating all these healthy foods, I'm doing all these great things for the planet, and I'm gonna also look great. So I went vegan.
All right, so long-term viewers know that there's some really important thing missing from that list of the reasons why you should go vegan. And I admit, if you're just turning vegan, you might not be vegan immediately. You might just go plant-based because it'll make you look great, makes your health better and stuff like that. But really, let's just get it out here what veganism is. It's not a diet. It's not a way of eating that makes you look great. It's a stance against animal cruelty and exploitation. But like I said, I'm not going to knock her on this. I just didn't hear her mention anything about animals, but in all fairness, like I said, maybe she just didn't have the animal ethical component when she first started.
If any of you watched vegan content around that time, this was the very beginning of 2015, and the types of diets that were promoted for being vegan were wild, raw till 4, 80-10-10.
Yeah, she's absolutely right. That period in time that she was referring to, many raw-based or near raw-based influencers dominated vegan eating on YouTube. I don't know why, but that's how it was then.
I followed raw till 4 pretty religiously. I would make smoothies with 10 bananas in it. 10 bananas. That in itself is 1,000 calories.
Yeah, I saw lots of people make this very same mistake that she's making here. I mean, 10 banana smoothies are appropriate only for some people. If you're expending a lot of calories, if you're very athletic, and I'm not going to mention any names, but the people that she was following, and she mentioned them in her video, they're super athletic. They rode their bikes 20, 30 hours a week. They have 1,000 calorie smoothies, no problem. Even myself too, I'm pretty athletic. I'm a pretty large guy, almost 6'5", and yeah, I can have 1,000 calories of bananas after a big workout or basketball or something like that. But yeah, for your average person who's not working out like that, this is horrible advice.
I would have that. I would throw so much spinach in there, and that was my breakfast. And then for lunch, I would have 5 apples. I would chop them up and I would douse them in cinnamon. For dinner, I would have this fat bowl of cooked white rice, and I would eat it with maybe lettuce and just make these little lettuce cups. It's so embarrassing looking back, but that's just what was normalized back then.
All right, so you guys know I'm not a nutritionist or dietitian or health professional or anything like that, but I do know what these health professionals suggest that vegans eat if you want to have a healthy, balanced vegan diet. And it's just these words: a well-planned, balanced vegan diet, lots of different kinds of foods. And what I'm seeing on this day of eating she showed here is just 1 or 2 foods every meal. So again, based on what I'm seeing in this one little clip here of hers, it seems to me that she's not getting a wide range of plants and nutrients, which is what you should be doing as a vegan if you want to eat in a healthy way and get all your nutritional needs met through your diet.
And what's crazy also, I gained a lot of weight actually. I gained like 20 or 30 pounds.
Yeah, absolutely no surprise there. Like I said earlier, if you're consuming 1,000 calories in one meal from a banana smoothie, but you're not training like an Olympic level athlete like the people she was following, yeah, you're probably getting an excess of calories and yeah, will gain weight.
But it was weird because I just didn't care. It's something I like look back so fondly on because I went vegan for the wrong reasons, but I stayed for the right reasons. I loved how I felt. I loved what it stood for. And at that point, I just didn't even care what my body looked like.
I wish she would have said what she thought veganism stood for. Again, I'm just hearing about how it affects your looks and like maybe a social network and something like that. I haven't heard one mention about the word animals this entire video, and it's a little frustrating.
This is just a mindset that I had back then. Like there were good foods and bad foods, and vegan foods are just like all good foods.
Right, so what she just said there, I'm pretty sure she was referring to her old self back then, as she assumed that as long as the food was vegan, it's automatically good. That's just simply not true. I'm sure she knows it now. There's plenty of vegan junk foods. Like I've said a million times, you can be vegan and eat nothing but Oreos and beer. I mean, that's obviously not healthy. Just because something's vegan doesn't mean it's automatically healthy. That being said, you can have a very healthy vegan diet if you choose to do so.
Anyone ever asked me like, oh, are you eating enough protein? Like that would like just annoy me because I'm like, all foods have protein. What are you talking about? But I never really realized like what they were really talking about until I honestly started working out a year ago.
All right, so now we're finally getting to her big story about why she's no longer vegan. And it's puzzling. You'll see here, guys. It has to do with her starting working out, as she said here, and somehow coming to this realization that I never have from working out that she's not getting enough protein. Let's see what she says.
Because I've gotten so into it, I also have just been focusing more on my diet. And I've realized that I am not eating enough protein.
I really wish she'd provide some specifics here, like saying maybe she entered her daily eating into her chronometer to calculate how much protein she's getting, matching that up with like recommendations for how much protein a vegan should be getting, and she wasn't matching up, but we just have to take her word for it.
Started upping my protein shakes. I would have like a protein shake in the morning. I would have vegan like Greek yogurt, and I would make protein coffee. I would vamp up my lunches and make them larger. I was eating more food for the amount of protein that I needed.
Well, to me, it sounds like she's overcompensating from her self-perception of not getting enough protein in her food. She's going like hardcore with the protein shakes and stuff like that. And I really wonder, how much protein does she really need to make the muscle gains that she's looking for? I assume she's not like bodybuilding. I mean, as we all know, there's plenty of vegan bodybuilders, and they seem to be able to get the protein needs met, their protein needs met through food and protein powders and shakes like that. So I'm just wondering, what is she doing where she's taking all these powders and supplements and stuff like that, and she's not getting the gains? I mean, not everyone builds muscle in the same way. A lot of that has to do with genetics. So anyway, let's continue on.
I was having like indigestion. I started to incorporate digestive enzymes because I felt like the food was just sitting in my stomach. It was not moving anymore. I ended up going to the doctors because I was like, something's wrong with my digestion. They did a blood test on me. It turns out I'm like slightly sensitive to like wheat, tomatoes, and peanuts.
In all fairness, a lot of people have sensitivities to those three foods she mentioned there: gluten, tomatoes, and peanuts. Yeah, some people have deadly peanut allergies, but none of those foods, except for perhaps peanuts, are like super high protein foods that she was probably over consuming, that were given her the indigestion. I'm just saying, I'm not hearing a reason why you have to quit being vegan because you can't eat a lot of tomatoes.
But that made me realize like there are certain foods out there that my body just don't agree with.
Cool. A lot of people do. And the trick is to just not eat those foods. And in your case, if you're trying to get a lot of protein, it's quite easy to avoid those three foods.
Eating so much vegan protein powder and tofu and beans. I love beans, but like every day, there's no way.
Well, maybe Angie and I are weird, but hardly a day goes by where we don't have some sort of food from the legume family. Yeah, there's your classic beans, your white beans and kidney beans and stuff like that, but there's the more exotic beans from Asia, like tofu. Yeah, a lot of people don't realize tofu is a legume. There's chickpeas, lentils, stuff from like Middle East, and if you really don't want to have legumes on a day, but you really want to get your protein, you can have something like quinoa.
So I like came to the realization like maybe I should start incorporating foods that were high in protein and maybe not plant-based.
What? How does that follow? That, I want to eat more protein and I don't want to eat beans, so I'm going to eat animals and I'm vegan? Like, how does that make sense if you were an ethical vegan? I don't understand how that thought process flows from being an ethical vegan. I'm against animal cruelty and exploitation, but I want to make gains at the gym and I don't want to eat a bunch of beans, so I'm going to eat animals that were once living.
I got in a really bad mindset and I was like, you know what? F it. I'm just going to like try out different foods now. I'm just going to do it. And I loved it. I
say this is not an attack or anything, but that sounds like this whole F it thing. I'm gonna eat dead animals because I want to make gains at the gym. I'm assuming, I didn't want to assume at first that you're probably just, a vegan influencer. You're in it for looks and stuff like that and popularity, not for the animals. There's probably a really good reason why the animals were never mentioned in this video.
My body is now reacting in the way it should when it comes to food. I'm eating it. It's digesting properly.
All right, so you're happy with this eating animals bit because it's digesting properly. Well, did you talk to a gastroenterologist before making the switch to eat foods that violate moral principles of vegans? I mean, if you're having digestive problems, as a lot of people do, gastroenterologist would be the first person I would call before I said, I'm just going to start eating dead animals. I'm not going to get any kind of professional help because, F it.
I was also studying nutrition in college. I worked with a really great dietitian and I learned so much about different types of diets out there, like based on your genetics, your blood type. I really learned that different people require different nutrients.
No, this whole blood type diet thing, I mean, this has just long been debunked. I mean, there's no scientific backing to show that, I have a certain blood type, I can't eat a vegan diet. I mean, even ChatGPT knows that this is lacking credible scientific evidence. And as well, that assertion she made too about people of a certain genetic makeup are not able to eat a vegan diet. And once again, ChatGPT says, no, it's complete nonsense. There is no genetic type that prevents them from eating a completely 100% plant diet. I mean, the fact of the matter is that her dietitian friend there has given her some complete misinformation about the nutritional adequacy of plant-based diets being appropriate for all people. Who are you going to believe? Some dietitian who seems to be prone to spreading misinformation? Or how about organizations of health professionals, dietitians, nutritionists from around the world who have reviewed the scientific literature and they're coming to the same scientific consensus that a well-planned, well-balanced vegan diet is nutritionally adequate for all people, not just certain blood types or certain genetic types.
I'm 10 years older than when I first started being vegan. And the nutrients I feel like that my body wants are different than what it was back then.
I mean, that's really weird. I'm 14 plus years older now than from when I originally went vegan. And I'm in my late 50s and my body's doing quite fine on the foods I've been eating for most of that time. I can't imagine the human body like changing its makeup so much from like your teens to your early mid 20s that you have to eat a completely different way. It just sounds like more of an excuse than anything.
Foods and the nutrients that my body wants right now, being 27, are gonna be different than when I'm 80.
Well, deal with that when you're 80, but don't start eating animals now in your 20s because you're wondering if your body's gonna respond differently 60 odd years down the line. I haven't had to make any changes radical like that. I'm still eating plants all the time, still doing fine. I put my blood labs up for all to see. I'm still quite healthy. I do resistance training. I play basketball. I'm still working on my vertical jump and everything. And I see no need I need to eat animal products or else I'm going to die or something like that. So once again, I see no absolute compelling reason here why she needed to start eating animal products to get the protein and the gains she needed from at the gym. And once again, I didn't see her make any mention of having a gastroenterologist take a look at the digestive issues and see if they could be corrected in a completely vegan friendly way without having to just say, hey, F it, I'm going to start eating animals and I'm not going to see a doctor or anything like that first. So anyway, guys, I once again saw no compelling reason why she had to immediately stop eating plants. Her health is not in jeopardy. There's more things she could have done, but I didn't hear any mention of it. And if you did, Amanda, just comment down below or someone could tell me. I'm sure she couldn't say everything in the limited time you have in one of these longer vegan videos. So let me know, guys. So comment down below. Let me know if you heard some compelling reason here why she couldn't be vegan. Let me know about all the vegan bodybuilders that you know that are getting the protein they need. And also, if you think everything I said here is wrong and vegans are all lacking in protein and we're all dying, come to my Friday live streams, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and be civil and I'll hear you out. So until then, guys, I'll see you Friday. It doesn't suck being vegan.